Hey everybody, are you ready to do some math? Let's start with number 7. Let's go. Alright, hey everybody, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about blending and making a mix, taking something that you don't sit back and drink all the time and making it a little bit better. So everybody knows Jack Daniel's number 7 is a very consistent product. It's 80 proof whiskey that tastes the same as it did 50 years ago. How do they do that? I have absolutely no idea. I'm not a whiskeyologist. Since a lot of us bourbon lovers don't really sit back and drink Jack Daniel's all day, let's try to make this one a little bit better by blending it with something and then barrel aging it for a little bit. Alright, so my base is this Jack Daniel's number 7. What am I blending it with? Well, we're gonna find out. Let's do some experimenting. I have 2 different single barrel picks here of the Hero Select, and we're gonna try little samples of each one to see if one of these tastes better blended with the number 7, because not all single barrels are created equal. Alright, so let's switch cameras and get this little guy going. Let's set you up on this E.H. Taylor single barrel. Alright, so we got our Glens right here. Let's grab a graduated cylinder and start pouring some whiskey in it. Now we're just using this to help us transfer from the bigger one to the smaller one, because it's really hard to pour out of a bottle. Alright, so we're going to do 7 milliliters. Alright, can you guys see that? We're doing 7 milliliters of the regular Jack Daniel's. We do 3 milliliters of the 130.5. See, we got 3 milliliters of the 130.3. Alright, so this is the first glass, which has 7 milliliters of the regular Jack Daniel's and 3 milliliters of the first single barrel, which is 130.3 proof. I think this blend is applicable to all kinds of different brands, because you have some bottles that are really low proof, not very flavorful, so you don't touch them very much. Then you have other bottles that are really high proof, maybe even some hazmat, that you don't touch very often, because you can't sit there and drink that stuff all night. You'll die. Definitely some banana bread notes in this one. Let me try the other one and do a little bit back and forth. And this is the other single barrel that we're trying out today, 130.5 proof. The 130.5 has a lot more going on the palate. I'm going to go back to the 130.3 to see how that compares. But the 130.5 was the banana bread I got off the first one, but it had like a fruity glaze on it. It was delicious. Yeah, the 130.3 has the banana bread with nuts, like walnuts. And the 130.5 has like a fruity or frosting on it. We're definitely going with that one. Alright, so if any of you guys have ever thought about making a blend, like blending some whiskeys together, especially if you do more than 2 different kinds, you're like, how do I figure out what the proof is? I don't have one of those meter things that they have at the distilleries that they figure that out with. That does the math for them. It figures it right out. How do I figure out what's in there? Just grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down all the stuff that you're entering into the blend. And if your lowest common denominator, like if your lowest amount that you're adding is 100 milliliters, then make 10 lines to do a 1 liter batch. Does that make sense? So if you're doing 300 milliliters of Jack Daniel's, then you'll do 3 lines of 100 milliliters of Jack Daniel's. Then once you got everything entered, add it all up and divide it by 10. And then you'll get your average, right? And you can do that really quickly on an Excel spreadsheet too. And so for this blend, I'm doing 700 milliliters of Jack Daniel's. So put 80 in there on the first 7 lines. Then I'm doing the 130 proof Hero Select, so the bottom 3 lines are 130. Like if the lowest amount of alcohol you're adding to the mix is 50 milliliters, then you just double the amount of lines and do an entry for every 50 milliliters, and you'll have 20 lines for the 1 liter, and then just divide that by 20. Or you can just put it on the Excel sheet like this and make it, instead of 10 lines, make it 20 lines. Highlight it all, and it'll show you your average at the bottom. And that's how you can figure out a rough estimate of your APV. Now let's get back to this blend. And there you have it, folks. We've got 700 milliliters of regular number 7 Jack Daniels in here at 80 proof. Then we've got 300 milliliters of the Jack Daniels Hero Select Single Barrel 130.5 proof in here, making it approximately 95.15 proof. Now 95.15 proof sounds like a good everyday sipper, and so we'll see how this comes out. All you Patreons will definitely get a sample of this. Thanks for stopping by and talking about how to do a blend and mix it up and age it in a little barrel, and how to math it up and figure out your APV. Don't forget to push the like and subscribe buttons. That way next time we put out a whiskey video, you'll get the notification. But it was fun having some whiskey with you. Earn, protect, enjoy. Cheers.